Now, we will talk about the clone method. The clone method allows the user to make another copy, but first, we have to understand that the clone method only works for objects, not for primitive data types such as int, double, variables. The clone method will copy the state of the object and has a separate memory, but it only works as a shadow copy, which means that just that object itself is cloned. So what about the objects inside the object called the clone method? For example, an object with composition will have other objects as components. When the clone method is called, these inner objects are actually not copied. So no clone for objects as inner components. If you want to make a deep clone, then you have to go inside the object and make a copy for each of the object components. A good example is the vector object. Whenever you clone a vector object, you will make another copy and create another vector object but contains the same elements. If the user wants to make a change to those elements, it will change the original elements as well. If the user wants to make the object secure from modification, then user can declare the class as final. So no change can be made to the object of that class. Inside such final class, it needs to manually copy mutable data object, which is essentially a deep clone. So for example, this mutable class is a clonable class, but now we define as a final, and it has a private data object and will be initialized here. Can make a clone, and then you have to make a deep copy. Now I will show you an example. Okay, this is the Java example, and from the third side. In this example, we have defined a class named sensitive class. Which has a replace method defined to replace a string. An insecure version of the class does not have this clone method. So we comment out this clone method. So it will have a default clone method from the object class. The malicious subclass extends the sensitive class to become a child class of the sensitive class. It does define a clone method, which will override the default clone method. This overridden clone method will simply make a copy of the malicious subclass, but not the string object or child array file name. Let's see what will happen if we create a clone of malicious subclass object and then call the replace method. Obviously, after the replace method is called in the clone object, both of the original malicious subclass object and the clone object share the same char array file name. Whenever the clone replaces the file name here, it also changes the file name of the original malicious subclass object. This is sometimes not acceptable. To prevent this type of insecure clone, we can define a customized clone method in the parent sensitive class, which will throw an exception whenever a clone is made. And it's wrong. And what it said? It said it should not clonable and throw an exception. Again, of course, this will tell you some information. If the file text is sensitive, you should not tell them what is the file name. Anyway, we just focus one thing at a time. So that's pretty much about the secure clone for Java OAD.